The U.S. military is the first institution in the United States that integrated. The first institution. The military was far ahead of other institutions in terms of integrating. Okay, so the U.S. military, this achievement through merit, it is really woven in.
Because the military don't play no games.
People in any given population never come to understand militaries. There are countries around the world where at least half the population serves in the military, and that means that military culture is much more widely known among the general civilian population. But military culture is not the civilian culture, and it's a very unique set of human relationships. Suffice it to say, the military is quite unique, right? But the one thing that I've observed throughout my life is that military cultures around the world are built on merit, fundamentally. Achievement through merit, which is the topic of the class today. So you have to earn your place in the lives of...
So if you guys don't know what this discussion is about, it's about merit or DEI in society, and he's using a conglomerate of the military to represent this entire structure. Because people have this weird misunderstanding of the government, and that the government is not merit-based, the military is not merit-based, the military is racist. They have these strange understandings, and I always disagree with them. But here's a professor at Penn State giving his opinion on it, and he has some students who are in the military giving their opinion on it. So let me not waste no more time. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let's go.
Of people around you who you're working with are at stake. So if you don't do your job or you can't do your job, the lives of people around you really are at stake. This isn't like working in an Amazon warehouse where you can have some incompetent people and it's like, okay, whatever, we'll get by. But this is very different. So achievement through merit, again, the topic of today's class, it really matters. And it's very true of the culture of the military of the United States. And I say that because this is what I've come to know throughout my life, both in my personal experiences and in conversations that I've had. And it's just part of the culture. However, you might be thinking, well, that's how the U.S. culture is. Yeah, we pride ourselves on the idea that achievement through merit is the most important thing in the U.S., and maybe, we say like, okay, but that's been changing in recent years. But the fact is that we have a long history of treating certain groups and certain people differently and not allowing them to achieve through merit. So that's one thing in the United States. That's very much true. And the second thing, we also live with this mantra that connections with other people are really, really important for you moving up the ladder of social mobility. Wait, how does that blend with achievement through merit? And what about achievement through merit in a society in which we have centuries of discrimination against certain groups of people and we don't allow them to achieve through merit? Okay? There's no question that sometimes nepotism is involved, and that, especially the higher you go in the ranks, I would postulate that probably, it's really good to know certain people, and sometimes that helps you out. Sometimes, but it's different. It's not like in the civilian world. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is, the U.S. military is the first institution in the United States that integrated. The first institution. The military was far ahead of other institutions in terms of integrating. Okay, so the U.S. military, this achievement through merit, it is really woven into to military culture, right?
Because the military don't play no games. Here's the thing. Here's what I keep saying, and I have no issues with diversity. I don't have no issues with diversity. I'm black. For God's sake, I'm black. But when you have this whole concept that, diversity is our number one thing, it makes it seem like merit is not your number one thing. And the reason I say that is because when you look at the strongest military on earth, the United States military, we are the pinnacle of strength in the military. Merit-based. When you look at the number one sports organizations and franchises on earth, or some of them, the NBA, even look at FIFA, the NBA, the NFL, UFC, boxing, all these things that make billions of dollars every year, they're merit. But when you look at colleges, for some reason, when we look at colleges and every other business, they try to pretend like having a merit-based system is just the most racist and craziest thing ever. And it's not. It's really not. And having that idea just in your mind it's just insane. It's craziness. It's craziness.
But it's hidden from view. There's a lot of conversation about it. And I thought, I'm really curious because I don't talk to a lot of military people about this very specific thing. And I thought, let's have a conversation in class about it because it's really interesting. Like, how is this true? How true is this in the military? And if so, how do you do it? How do you really do this achievement through merit? How do you make it succeed? How does it happen? Because what can we learn from this, right? Anyway, and the only way to do that, of course, is to talk to people. Because I can't have opinions. The rest of us can have thoughts and opinions about it, but if we don't talk to people, then what's the point? So given your experience in the military, I'm going to start with you. What do you think people don't know about the institution of the military?
Until there's operations that you need to do or whatever. For the most part, the military is like a regular 9 to 5.
It's a regular 9 to 5? So what does that mean? What do you see?
So usually when you in the morning, you would wake up around 5:30 or whatever, you'll PT, physical training for an hour. And then you'll go in and do whatever job you do until you're planning for an operation. That's when it's no longer a 9 to 5. You just basically do the work until you're finished with the work.
Yeah, but and that work can be 24/7.
Yes.
Well, the military isn't a monolith. It's very diverse, and there's a lot of subcultures within it. People have this idea that the entire military is infantry, or we're all every soldier is infantry, or something like that. And it's not really true. There's a lot of different subcultures and jobs within the military that keep it running like a well-oiled machine. You need infantry. You need support. And people, oftentimes attribute the infantry lifestyle to everyone, and it's really not the case. There's a lot of diversity within the different subcultures of the military, and saying that acting like the military is a monolith is probably incorrect, I would say.
Okay, I got you.
Everyone I think would know the camaraderie is really big, but just experiencing it is kind of not something that I think a civvy can comprehend, you know what I mean?
And what's crazy is that these students, this video is not old. This video is not referencing an older administration. This video was recorded during the Trump administration. And the reason I want to point that up is because a big trend that's happening now is there's more enrollees in the military under Trump's second administration. And people are wondering, how are the people doing this? If people don't like the administration, people hate Trump or whatever. The reason why it's happening is because the military is a great opportunity, and people pretend like it's not, and it really is. There's a lot of opportunity in the military. I'm not trying to be no recruiter or nothing, but it just is. And people try to phrase the military as if it's a big racist bundle that hates people. No, it's not like that. If you do your work, if you're the best of the best, you're going to do what you got to do. It's going to be a great opportunity for you. I'm not going to lie. The Army can change lives for real, man. And the students are admitting this under the Trump administration, because people act like he's the worst thing ever for the military. No, bro, it could be a great opportunity for you if you play your cards right. But let's continue.
A civvy,
civilian.
You mean like most of us?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were 27 years in the U.S. Army as a logistics officer, and you're now an assistant professor in military leadership.
That's correct.
Yeah. And your son's in the class, and you share the same name. By the way, he doesn't get any extra credit because he's already going to get an A because he has all the points for the class.
We love Mark.
Yeah. All right, so listen, let me ask you a question. First off, thanks for being here. And given your extensive experience in the military, because 3 decades is a long time, and you're still really in a way, because you're still actively involved. So even though you're not you're involved. What do you think? What do you want young people to know about the institution? What do you think people should know about that institution?
Well, the Army is the oldest branch of the military. It's been around since 1776. And the Army is here to fight and win our nation's wars. And I think the best thing that they can learn about the military is that the military is here for our nation. We have a lot of different specialties. Just like the one student said, we're just not infantry. I was logistics. There's lots of opportunities in the Army. And I believe it is provides a vital role in the defense of our nation.
If you guys don't know anything about me, the fastest way to trigger me, one of the fastest ways is when people disrespect the military. It's one of the fastest ways ever, because people will disrespect the military while benefiting off of the military services. They will hate the military industrial complex. They will hate it, say it's evil, all these things, while they're benefiting off of the services that the military provides, off of the safety that the military provides. The way I look at it is like this. Imagine you're in a household and your father goes to work all day. He's always at work, paying all the bills, making sure you can get everything you want, and then you disrespect him. It's kind of that same concept to me, because the military does nothing but protect people. These guys wake up at 5 a.m. to train just to protect you, so you can watch Netflix all day and eat Domino's or Papa John's that you've ordered on your app that someone else delivered to you. It's the craziest thing for me. It really triggers me so bad. I have so much respect for the military, bro. Let's continue.
So you were deployed in Iraq, is that right? Or Afghanistan?
Yeah, I was deployed in Desert Storm, and I was a battalion commander in Iraq.
For how many years were you over there?
I was over there for 2 years.
2 years? And you were how many people were you in charge of as a commander?
I had 900 soldiers.
So 900. All right.
Yes.
That's a lot, right? Is that a lot?
It was a lot. I had a headquarters unit. I had a maintenance unit. I had a laundry and bath unit. I had just logistics focused.
What do you think is most misunderstood about the military?
I think what's misunderstood is a lot of individuals who are civilians don't appreciate what the soldiers do for our country. Soldiers give up a lot. They deploy. They're asked to do impossible things within limited resources. And I think the one thing that very few people understand is what the families give up. When the soldiers leave, they're left behind. They have children. They have everyday problems. And the soldiers who deploy are focused on their mission, but they're also missing their families. And that can be very hard, and it causes a lot of problems. Soldiers, especially when they reintegrate with their families.
Yeah, no kidding. Especially when you're deployed, and I'm going to go back to Cole. So Cole, you were in Afghanistan?
I spent 8 months in Afghanistan.
Yeah, where in Afghanistan?
4 months at a classified location and 4 months at Bagram Airfield.
At Bagram, and how? What do you think about what Mark just said about like families and like?
Yeah, it was definitely a lot. It was definitely very hard on a lot of the married enlisted and officers. Like, I can't imagine being like you have a wife and kids who are relying on you and you're very connected. Like, yeah, I have a mother and a father, but it's a bit different. Like, I'm a man out in the world. You know, that's different than having, you know, a wife and child who's reliant on you. And being away from them, I can imagine it must be very hard. I probably had an easier time being away from family than most people, but still I miss my loved ones, and I can only imagine that's exacerbated when you have a wife and child.
Yeah, and when you're told to deploy, you deploy. Like, you don't have a choice in that. Yeah, I agree, but also like we generally wanted to deploy. You know, there's this idea floating around, like especially popular in like Hollywood depictions of the military, where it's like, oh, you know, it's I don't want to have to do this, but I will for my country. It's like, we spent like 2-3 years training for this one thing, and now we finally get the opportunity to do it. Yeah. And we've become elite by training like nonstop. We've been through hell to get to the point that we're at. And yeah, getting the opportunity to do that is actually something that's like pretty sought after. There's also a level of respect you get in the Army, in the military, for deploying, because you have seen that action, you have that experience. You can use that to better teach others. So let me ask you. So you weren't deployed, right?
Correct, I wasn't.
And what do you think about what he just said? Like, oh man, you kind of wanted to have that. You were in Okinawa, so which was okay. But go. What do you think about it?
Yeah, everyone that's like, well, most people, I won't say everyone, but most people that's in the military wants to deploy. And like, because I feel like most people that are in the military feel like they haven't truly served until they have deployed. And I know a lot of people don't necessarily want to see combat, but they feel like they haven't truly served until they have seen combat.
Do you feel like that for yourself?
Yes.
In the infantry specifically, we all want to see combat. Like, it's like part of the culture. Like, you want to like get after it with the boys. That's like, okay.
Not like what's misunderstood, but just like the camaraderie of it, I think is like unimaginable from just like someone who's not actually in it.
And here's the thing. This is a young woman speaking. The middle is a young man, and on the right corner, or if you flip it, one of the right corners is another young man. All of them look like they had different upbringings. They're obviously different races or different genders at least, meaning that they're not all the same physically, since that's an important topic nowadays. And they're all describing the military in very similar ways. And the reason I pointed that out, the only reason, is because the only people dividing them is us. We keep trying to divide each other because we think it makes the world a better place. And it doesn't. Like, it really doesn't. And you know what's crazy? Me saying this, if I would have said this 40 years ago, it would have been extremely left-leaning liberal. But now me saying this is conservative. We need to stop dividing each other. That's a conservative take now. It's crazy how the parties flip so dramatically. It's crazy. Nonetheless, I'm happy that the professor made this video. It showed something that I've been saying, and I'm happy that he's pointing this out. My name is Jojo, and I'll see you guys in the next one.